Well, you videoing now, so don't act right.
Right. We got big
Don't
high
just joking, act right.
Oh, man, what kind
Is
of
anybody
food do we have today?
Or is it just me?
Just you.
Just me.
We need,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's actually warm.
I've been sweating up the storm. Oh,
This
Lord.
is beef stroganoff and English peas.
That's always been a family. Oh, and I forgot the rolls. Let me get the rolls. They probably burned. I don't get up, Mom. You're
Can you
fine.
get by?
Well,
I don't know
yeah.
if there's enough room.
Right now, remind
She
me.
ain't that bad yet.
Well, I didn't even know how much room there was. 'Cause I just pulled the chair
This
out.
is probably a little bit, I don't know, it might be fine.
Well, they're
Might
not
be a
bad.
little runny than
That's okay. Still.
I didn't know.
Do I need to put some butter on them for y'all?
Nah.
No, just plain good. All right.
That's funny though. For years and years and years, I always had the English peas when I had the.
Well, that's what I knew, so I was.
Mary likes them now, don't she?
Yes, she does.
Van doesn't like careful English peas. that
He
much
does?
either.
Well, she didn't like them at all until I caused her to.
Now, is this minute rice?
No,
Is the real deal?
yeah.
Now, we always had minute rice.
And I always cook the mince.
Well, it probably ain't no count then.
The last time I made it, I made minute rice, and the minute rice was horrible.
Oh, really?
I was like, well, you were there, and you were like, this is sitting the same.
Well, there's so many things they change, you know, they really do.
They do.
It's edible.
Is it edible?
That's pretty warm right now.
Oh, let's see. I'll swap it out then.
We'll slide it over. Slide that hand over.
You don't like it?
I'm gonna let you dip me some.
Yeah.
Mary doesn't like what?
When I say it's edible.
Oh,
You see what you say, it's not edible.
So now she,
Look at this fancy cookware device guy.
yeah, some of my cast iron that I picked up here and there.
Oh, I can guess. This is a
Beef stroganoff.
enamel coated cast
Oh.
iron.
Maybe you can eat it, I don't know. It ain't mama's.
that's good. Same thing that you made last time, isn't it? That you can. It's good.
Looks like it's thing hard. Now, I do like some pepper in my English peas. You need pepper or salt or anything. I don't know why, but I've always liked pepper on my peas.
I always put it on, I guess.
Probably.
Well, thank you, Mom.
Yeah,
This was
thank
good.
you.
Oh,
You know, well,
thank
we
you
don't
for
get
the.
to do this very
No,
often.
we don't.
Life's gotten kind of complicated for everybody. It seems like all we do is go, go, go. And I remember the days when we were younger, when all the kids would get together and play. Just, more than just at Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
We'd all be up at Granny's playing. That's funny, I'll tell people at work about all of our old, my memories of being at Grandma's, because she had chickens and that tag, he was the big old German Shepherd, and had that old gander, that big old goose. And people come in and talking about, oh, the chickens are, the coyotes are getting on, the raccoons are getting on, the critters are getting in, and they're fussing about it. And I said, well, my granny just had free range. We didn't even have a chicken coop. And I said, they just ran all over the yard all the time. And I said, she had a dog, and I guess they kept all the big predators away, and then that gander would go after him. And she would walk around behind all the baby chicks. And
Yeah, I remember that.
every now and then, I remember I was real little, we got to go and help her find the eggs. And they were all in those little trees, those low-lying trees. I guess it was hedge trees. I don't know what kind of trees. They're around that bushes where they were roosting. They'd roost in there overnight. And Tag would kind of sleep in that area. And so at night, they were all protected. They didn't have a pen, chicken coop. And everybody's having these fancy, expensive chicken coops and still can't keep their chickens from getting killed. It's just good to know.
It is.
recipe I got out of one of the, I think it was one in Kenny books, I can't tell you which one. Which I had Mama's recipe, but it was pretty much about the same, but a few different things.
Yeah.
Mainly a Kenny book tell you how to can. You don't put your rice, you can't can rice, can't can sour cream, you know, you have to add that after. But I think I used a different meat as beef, but it wasn't
Yeah.
you usually put your,
I always use that. What was it, sirloin
Sirloin
steak?
or round steak. It was a
No,
steak.
it was steak. Sirloin. It was the more expensive. It wasn't the round steak.
well, I used the cheap. I mean, I didn't know if this would even turn out worth eating.
But it turned out very good.
It's good.
I've got a bunch more canning to do coming up. Want to get time, get so much work to be done.
What you got to can?
Got a bushel of sweet potatoes the other day.
Some you bought.
Oh, sweet potato pie. Sweet
Down
potato
to
casserole.
1 quart from my Canton, I think a bushel of them at 22. I think it's 22. The last time I canned, we've done 8 down and got 1 quart left out of about 14 or so, 16, I forget now.
You make sweet potato casserole out of them, or just no?
Which I mean, you can eat them, you know, just eat it up.
Oh yeah. One of my favorite new ways of eating them, besides just, you know, putting them like when we were kids, Granddaddy, I guess Granddaddy did it. We'd wrap them up in tin foil, stick them in the oven and bake them and leave them there. We'd go in and grab us one and eat it with butter. I remember them being so sweet you didn't need sugar or anything. You just
No.
ate it with butter. It was so
We
good.
still do that in America from time to time. We'll bake them. I'll bake a sweet potato, like you're talking about butter.
Yeah.
I like
Little
baked
salt.
sweet potatoes.
An old man came in, one of our customers gave us some sweet potatoes, and there was this elderly man. He came in, and he was kind of pitiful. He had to get a used tire, and they was scraping up dollars and pennies to pay for his $45 used tire. And he saw those sweet potatoes that the other customer had left me on the counter. And he says, "Oh, I love those sweet potatoes, and my niece and my nephew love them too. I can cook them, and they'll just eat them raw." And so anyway, so in the story, that he got custody of his niece and nephew. And he said, you know, they were having it hard, but he was very thankful to have them because he couldn't stand to see his niece and nephew going anywhere. And he said they're the sweetest two babies. And he said what he liked to do, he took a pot like this right here, and he said he would, you know, take the skin off and cube them up pretty big sizes and throw them in a pot. Put a little bit of butter in there and sprinkle a few marshmallows on top, put the lid on and bake it till it's tender, and that's all you do. And so I tried it that night. Of course, I gave him almost all the sweet potatoes I had, and I said, "Well, if you and those your nieces and nephews, y'all take these home and cook them," and he was so thankful. So, you know, I gave him all but about 3. And I went home that night and did the 3 just like he said, and it was so easy. And I was like, ever since then, that's what I do.
How you do.
I don't even put the marshmallows on it now because, you know, like just butter, just bake it.
Yeah.
It'll cook real fast when it's cut up, chopped up like that. So, but if you do like cinnamon and marshmallows, you can put that in it too. But the way he did it, the marshmallows just basically disappeared. You don't even see, like, you know, some marshmallow casseroles has a layer of marshmallows toasted. This just melted in. So it was just sweet potatoes. Anyway, I learned something from a little old man. Now we learned something from the mom. These men are good cooks.
I know Mary has to be thankful.
Mm-hmm.
Mom does most of the cooking.
She's been cooking a little bit here lately. I've been working. course, and she's, you know, when you're sitting there and you're hungry and you ain't got nobody to cook for you or nothing to cook, you know, you get hungry and
You'll get creative.
you'll find something. You'll go in there and find something. But she still cooks some. She just very rare. Of course, she don't have to when I'm cooking her to cook. So.
There was something she used to make years ago. It was really good, and I can't remember what it was now. It wasn't spaghetti. I don't think.
You want another roll mop?
What was it that she used to make? She made it a lot because that, sort of like me, I think she didn't know all that many different dishes to cook.
Seems like I remember her making real good spaghetti. Or something else that was
Yeah,
really
she
good.
might do spaghetti.
She makes good sandwiches with mayonnaise.
But she worked all the time too.
No, I'm just laughing about the mayonnaise and the salad dressing. You grew up on salad dressing, and Mary grew up on mayonnaise.
And I'll never forget. Of course, Andrew and Lauren grew up on mayonnaise. I never really, I mean, when we got married and I started eating mayonnaise, it was fine with me because I like mayonnaise.
Yeah.
We went down, me and Andrew and Lauren was down at y'all's house, on the lake house, and you made us chicken fish sandwiches.
And I did it with salad dressing.
Miracle Whip salad dressing, and me and Andrew and Lauren was like, what is this?
But we grew up on tin fish sandwiches made with Miracle Whip. Mom always used Miracle Whip.
Well, I didn't know no different then, but
No, I thought they were good.
then Mama, she went and bought, started keeping small jars of mayonnaise in it. I heard Dad both, they swore. Mayonnaise ain't no good, Miracle Whip, salad dressing.
Well, it's like Mom and Dad always made pinto beans, and they would put either some, I don't know if it was a whole bottle or a portion of a bottle of French dressing or ketchup in it. Now, that's how we grew up on it. And when I got married, you know, I put the French dressing in it because that's what Mom told me to do. And of course, everybody there was like, "What in the world did you do to these pinto beans?" So since then, I've had to learn, you know, to cook it without it. So now I'm like, I would be like with them. I'm like, to me, it's not pinto beans if you don't have just salt, probably some, you know. I'll use bacon sometimes if I don't have the ham hocks, but I'll put a little ham or something in, pieces of ham, but salt, and that's about it. And I like to throw a little piece of like a big quarter chunk of onion, put it in there and fish it out, give it a little bit of, but that's how they cooked it. So I started cooking it like that, and now I'm like, no wonder they thought, what in the world? That's how I grew up on it.
I still think it's good. Although, I mean, I cook them without even one too sometimes, but
Well, I got, speaking of pintos, I got to can some more pintos. I think I got one more jar left.
goodness.
Oh, that's green beans, or you do pre-cook the pintos themselves?
Well, just a regular bag of dry pintos.
Yeah.
Well, I'll can them in pint jars, and I'll put about just a small, about an inch long piece of bacon in the bottom of it, and I'll take the pintos and soak them overnight and rinse them, because they swell up and that, and then, you know, put them up to the level and then fill it up with water, and put about a pint, half a teaspoon of salt.
Oh.
Can them for 90 minutes. Well, you ate some of that one time you was playing, I think. Last time I see you brought some. They taste like you've been sitting there cooking
all day
for 2 or 3 days. I mean, they're good like that. And when a pint is a perfect size for me and Mary.
There you go, yeah.
You know, so I gotta cook a bunch more. Down to 1 pint of them, I got, cow peas that me and Mary like, we like it.
I like those.
Oh, they're good.
Yeah, I
They're
like
real
those.
good.
I gotta do them, I'm getting low on them, but I got a bunch of them, grew a bunch this year, made
You
some
did.
shell, I got some more to shell. That's what I got, every year I'll grow something that I don't know nothing about.
Yeah, and then
Just
learn
to
about it,
see,
yeah.
but that's some of what I gotta do next year's cut my garden down, cause it's
Too
Getting
much.
too much.
too much work. I got so much other stuff to do around the house, plus get a few jobs here and there. And it overwhelms me, the garden bugs and the worms and the birds and whatever winds up having field day.
Well, you're feeding the whole environment.
Well,
It's a cycle.
I get excited. It's winter time, rolled around, I ain't done nothing. I'm getting excited for garden season. Then I'll get on these seed sites and I'll see this brand new tomato, brand new pepper that I've not tried, or brand new something else, or this and that and the other. Next thing you know, my garden's expanded 3 times of what I planned. But like I told Mary, I said, canning tomatoes, to get enough tomatoes at one time to can, you gotta have quite a few tomatoes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, out there, it's got where the bugs and the worms is bad unless you keep them sprayed.
Yeah.
And it costs money to
Oh,
spray
yeah.
them things,
That's good.
time, and then, at the time you buy the seeds, buy the fertilizer, do everything the way they tell you, the way you're supposed to, you've done spent.
More than what if you went and bought them.
You run out there at that Mennonite place, or Thompson's out there at the
Yeah.
Mennonite place. Is
I've
six.
heard a lot of people go out there.
I
and do that
I bought a bushel of tomatoes for $16.
Yeah, that's a lot cheaper.
And when they were all ripe at the same time, usually I'll have a
Yeah.
table.
Yeah.
At the house, will be a table full of tomatoes, different stages of turning.
Yeah.
And they, if you leave them out on the vine over, and they start turning what they call blushing, and you leave them there, I'm gonna let that thing get perfectly ripe. You go out there the next day, and there's a hole in it.
I think that rock wall behind my house, it's a moth, and I forgot what species of moth it does. Those big old fat green ones, they'll decimate tomato plants.
Oh, yeah.
overnight.
Yeah.
And I think somehow those moths, anyway,
Probably tomato hornworm.
that's what it is. But there's a big old ugly moth it turns into, and I swear that rock wall with all the little holes in it has to be a hive. I don't know what they eat if they don't have tomatoes. We didn't grow any tomatoes this year, but for that very reason, the van put 2 of them in some big pots, but they just didn't do right. So I was like, we just can't grow tomatoes.
Wasn't
in our
last
house.
year, but the year before last, I think that you gave me tomatoes in pot.
Yeah.
And it was the hornworms that.
Hornworms go. Well, they'll eat a plant of it.
Oh, they
And don't have
decimate
it
it, yeah.
in one night. It can be, they'll eat pepper plants, but they like tomatoes.
Yeah,
better.
they got on my pepper plants after they decimated my tomato plants the last time Mom gave me some, and I'm like, I just don't have time to go out there and pull off, and then you feel sorry for them. You're like, because they actually make a noise when you squish them. And they're pitiful. They're beautiful, green,
Oh,
green, little things with little legs, little suckers on them. They're just as cute as they can be, and they'll reach up like this, and you're like, you squish them, and then it makes a squeal. Hey, and I'm like, well, let's just let them have them. They're beautiful.
Well, I hear what happened to me the other day. I was out there watering my pepper plants, and I seen a worm, but I didn't see it real good. I thought it was one of them hornworms, but you can reach down there and pull them off.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
I
I'd
reached
go
down there
back
and I
for-
grabbed that sucker, and it was one of them pack suckers.
Oh, no.
Dang it, those hurt like
I
crazy.
thought
I
he
got
was down, I
stung.
mashed him, then I had to go get my goldenrod salve.
If you ever got stung by one, it's hours of excruciating pain. That's
Goodness.
horrible.
That goldenrod salve, it helped.
I didn't have it when I got. Wished I'd had some because nothing helped. Nothing. Benadryl,
Yeah.
ice pack.
Oh,
Ice
yeah.
was the only thing you'd put a piece of ice on it, and it would kind of numb the pain a little bit just because you're freezing your arm
Yeah,
off. And the
yeah.
rest of your arm all around is hurting and turning purple, but you're like, I could care
I
less.
got into them.
Frostbite, I could care. It's better than this one.
I know you
Back
probably
saddle,
don't
Steve.
remember, we lived down there at the beach, I got into them out in the yard in front of the house there down off the hill there in between the lake and the drive. I got in some, didn't know what it was.
Oh,
All of a sudden I was burning and I was crying and screaming. I had whips running up my arm. Went and got Mama and she went, where was it? Where was you at?
Yeah.
And there they was, there's a bunch of them on
Oh,
the
boy.
bush. And you said, that's pack saddle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
It was
hurt.
bad news.
Yeah, I mean, they make you want to, I mean, it's excruciating pain. I don't know
It's
how
a
the little
long
thing can
time.
do that. Well, when I got by, it was at, here at Gunnersville, and I was just cutting the shrubs, de-weeding some stuff and got stung. And I did the same, it was just one. Van went out there afterwards because I was just like in terror, just hurt so bad. He went and put it in a bag because he didn't know what it was. He found it, took tweezers, put it in the bag, put it in the freezer because we was going to, look it up, figure out what it was, but it got frozen. So it was an ice cube, but that's what it was. I did not feel sorry for that one. I was glad it was gone. I was like, yeah, it
They will
deserved to
tear
die.
you up.
Yeah, yeah.
I hadn't never seen one out there in my garden until this year. But I could pull
What
a
about
horn.
kind of moths they turn into? Or if they
I'm
even
sure.
turn into, it's probably a beautiful, probably that lunar.
I wonder if it's
moth.
that's what I was going to say. I wonder if
That's
it's the
about what it
colors
looks
and
like.
everything. Yeah.
I can't grow deal at my house.
Really? What's eating deal?
There's a butterfly worm. It's kind of yellow and black stripy, pretty rounded stripy.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Turns into a beautiful butterfly. People will plant that stuff. They got it's certain milkweed plants.
Oh,
something
milkweed,
like that.
yeah. Milkweed's supposed to be good for the monarch butterflies.
Yeah. Okay.
But they love.
So you're helping. You have to plant your roll of deal. One of the prettiest things I've seen, I hadn't seen Gina do it again, several years ago. I went over there to pick up some food, man, and I guess it's right after he hurt his leg or something. They had to be getting together somewhere there and got some food. And Sarah said, you should see Mom's butterfly garden. So, they got a big, huge area. And so that year, Gina had done research and planted all the plants and flowers that attracted butterflies. And you go down there and butterflies of all kinds were just everywhere, absolutely everywhere. So I bought a butterfly bush, and then a Van found another one, and I had them in little pots, so they were kind of tame. Well, he decided since we didn't do peppers and tomatoes, where I did on the side of my art shed, he put them there, and they're as tall as the moon. They're huge, just grow. And I'm telling you, the butterflies this year are just all over. The big blue ones are so pretty. The little yellow ones, the solid yellow ones are really cute. They're just several different kinds. But today I noticed the big blue ones are real pretty. They were all over. And the cats are loving the kittens. They go and I don't think they've caught one yet, but they're up under that and they're jumping. You go out there and see them, they're constantly
That's
jumping
funny.
for the butterflies. And all four of them will be sitting there looking and waiting and jumping. But
Keeping them entertained too.
I told Van, I said, I wish you hadn't planted them there because I knew they would get big. The butterfly bushes.
Yeah.
I thought about transplanting them somewhere else at the top of the rock wall where they're pretty, but he put them there, and now the bottom of the bush is that big, so I'm sure he said, we'll transplant them. I said, when they get about that big, I don't know if we'll be able to
You'd
get
have
them
to get
up.
all the roots, and it would be a hard job.
I think they're going to be
getting
big.
Yeah.
Roots.
I had a bed I got out there beside the porch. It's, I don't know, about 5 foot square. And I've been I planted broccoli and cabbage and brassicas.
Yeah.
Well, I've been getting a few worms here and there, these little white butterflies flying around.
Oh,
Cabbage
yeah.
worms.
I've seen those. I didn't know what they were, but
I went on the YouTube channel. This guy recommended this net, which I bought the net. And I built the little round things that you hold it up over your plants and keeps the butterflies and the bugs out. So I got this thing netted off. I said, well, that'll take care of the
I can just see where this is
butterflies and the
going.
cabbage worms. Then I went out there one day, inside, under the net, and inside where the cabbage and the broccoli
Yeah.
was, it's like 1,000,000 of them butterflies under
Oh, my
there.
goodness.
I'm like,
You just trapped them all.
they was in the ground, and I
Yeah.
covered them up and trapped them all.
That's
When they
hilarious.
come out of the ground, the butterflies couldn't get out, so I had 1,000,000 of them white butterflies.
I gotta let them
I
go.
had to take the netting off. And all I done is
That's funny. Mom tried. It was a cauliflower one time, and she's tried some. And what Mom never, when we was a kid, never got good results out of it. One year we were so excited. I think it was your cauliflower, and she'd read somewhere you have to fold it and tie
Tie
the
it
leaves
up,
up.
yeah.
So she'd tied the leaves up, and they'd gotten kind of big underneath. Mom opened it up. And I mean, it was just black as mold. So not everything you read is good advice.
No, that
but
was.
I was just like, I told me and Van both talked about, there's certain things in Alabama that grow that's profitable, but cabbage and
well, man, I've had
broccoli.
Dutch used to grow cabbage because we made
Well,
coleslaw.
She was the old timey way. They took those ways with them, I reckon.
Yeah,
The
well,
modern-
I've had decent luck with them,
Yeah.
but then when they, after a certain time of the spring,
Yeah.
when it gets warmer, I guess the ground,
Yeah.
you plant them in the early spring when the ground is still kind of cool too cool for the bugs, and
Yeah.
they'll do good, man. They'll be pretty, and then the next thing you know, after a month or so,
Yeah.
you look at how beautiful your cabbage and broccoli is, and then next thing you know, you start to see, you'll see like maybe one of them little white butterflies.
Yeah, that's it.
They're coming, and then now you can get some sprays, and I have sprayed. It's one spray is organic, it's called BT, and it kills the worms. The worms will
I
eat
think
it.
I bought some of that organic
Yeah.
spray for
Yeah.
my tomatoes one year because I was going to be, I'm going to be.
They work
organic.
on the hornworms too.
Well, I sprayed the hormone.
What
An hour later, it's
it don't. They have to eat it.
well, I
And then
sprayed
when-
it on it because
When they get in, they have to eat something that has been sprayed
sprayed
on.
with it. Well, he ate some because I got it open all around him. So I don't know if he died the next day, but that day he just kept
I
on
reckon
marching on. I pulled him
it's
off.
got some kind of bacteria that
Goodness.
kills them from the inside. But, it works, but I mean, my problem is I'd spray and then it'd rain.
Yeah. By the time you buy, and that organic spray ain't cheap.
Oh no, ain't none of
good
that
Lord.
stuff cheap.
So I'm like, well, let's just go buy the 50-cent cabbage heads. Cabbage heads.
Well,
They're
that's
still
it.
pretty cheap.
You can go to the
Yeah.
store or right to one of them farms, and they got to be growing in greenhouses.
Yeah, they probably.
And I ain't no way they growing in my yard.
Well, Sarah went and bought some at Publix. I had to buy one, get one free, and it's grown in Kentucky. It's Kentucky lettuce. And it's Kentucky something or other lettuce. And apparently, and she pulled some out. She goes, you got to try some of this. It's so tender. And it was much more tender than most of the bag, lettuce that you buy. So she goes, I don't know what they're doing. Somebody says, they're growing them in greenhouses.
Probably.
So something about a greenhouse must keep them from, the elements, so they can stay more tender. They don't have to toughen up for the elements. Was the theory we thought, but I don't know if that's true.
I've learned if you're going to do good throughout the summer and the fall, into the fall with tomatoes, you better have a little greenhouse.
Yeah. Well, you got one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I'm getting any tomatoes at all. I'm not getting as many as I did this time last year. I don't know why, but them things, they got so big early in the spring. I think I don't know.
Oh, I was sharing pictures you had on Facebook with Sarah and Chris because they had grown tomatoes, and they're like, "Well, we're starting to get tomatoes." So here's my brother. What? Big old red tomatoes, so they got little green ones. What happened? Green thumb. My brother says green thumb. But they did say, "Oh, it's in a
little greenhouse."
They did realize that.
But you could plant them earlier in there, but you got to have some shade cloth because it'll get too hot. But I'm still getting tomatoes. But last year, I don't know why, but this year they grew. It was like they took off like crazy, and they was going over my greenhouse on all sides.
Wow,
goodness.
Like it's right here, and I had them hanging down. I couldn't hardly walk through there, so I had to go through and prune off.
Yeah.
a ton of
They're
stuff.
putting
Just
too
one-
much into the vine.
And I guess it's what's nitrogen and all the compost.
But you know, when your grandmother and them had the gardens, we grow the tomatoes out and we canned and made canned tomatoes, canned vegetable soup
Oh,
that's
yeah.
got tomatoes in it. We didn't seem to have that much of a problem back then.
I don't remember the green worms when I was a kid. I don't know.
I don't know.
There's probably some natural predator to those little moths that we've killed off. I mean,
Could
there's
be.
a lot of
Could
things
be.
that, you know, 'cause
Then
things
some
are
of these
different.
worms get imported from other
That's true.
areas.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of stuff that
It's like the fire
we
ants.
have
We never
today
had
that
fire
they
Oh, I
ants
didn't
until
have
now.
back
They were down in Mobile, come off the porch.
then. Armadillos, you know, didn't have them back then. So, I mean,
Didn't have alligator. I mean, the alligators. They're all up in.
don't get me started.
There-
Tea,
Oh, well, you get some. Bring it here. I'm thirsty.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like that tea.
They're
it's pretty good.
It was on sale. What can I say?
makes it better.
Yeah,
Cheaper's better, I guess.
it's half
Well,
price.
when they say, of
for
course.
$3.99, it was $2. So $1.99.
That's $2 off. I don't need as much as she's got, but
Well, I didn't
maybe
like
like
that
that.
much either. I'll drink it.
But you know, where Betty, where Gina and them lives now,
Yeah,
which was
yeah.
Betty named that Butterfly Lane,
Yeah.
and they had butterflies back then. I don't know
Just-
what they used to attract them, but
Well, went out last year. It was a few years ago. I mean, she may have done it this year and last year. I don't know, but I mean, it was gorgeous. It was just like, you know, just walking into whatever they call those butterfly aviaries.
Yeah.
There's got a certain name for it. Yeah, there's one in Chattanooga, and Huntsville's got one.
I didn't know Huntsville had one.
At the botanical gardens, and it was like, but they were wild. They were just everywhere. It was
Yeah.
all different colors, and you walk through, they were just all over the plants. And as you walk through, it disturb them, and they just fly for it. But now she had probably half an acre, quarter an acre. I mean, it was a big, huge whole section of the
Yeah.
garden just planted with flowers that were designed to
attract.
attract butterflies.
I remember we lived down there at the beach in Monarchs.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love
Oh.
You know, man,
flowers.
they was everywhere. They was migrating, I think.
They're almost gone. You know, the monarchs are
Well,
becoming
they
extinct.
need milkweed.
Yeah.
And most of the milkweed has been gotten rid of.
By
because,
poisons
yeah,
by man.
Poisons for our.
Why we don't see the
gardens.
redbud trees going
Yeah.
up the mountain on the
And,
roads
Well, now
anymore.
they're starting to come back.
Are they
haven't been-
starting to?
Yeah, a lot of people aren't allowing them to spray. There's
Oh.
even areas of the road will be no spray zone.
Okay.
But going up Grant Mountain from Columbus City, there's quite a few of them
Oh,
this
okay.
year. So,
Okay.
and then there's quite a few going between where I live in Scottsboro.
Okay.
So this year there was a bunch, but they do like edges of cliffs and roads because they do like
Yeah.
a lot of sun.
Yeah.
So, you know, it costs money to spray, and I guess Alabama's finally says, well, we're not going to spray.
Well, I hope they
So,
quit.
and they'll mow a certain area
Yeah.
too. And between Gunnersville, that first causeway to my house, there was a whole section of these big purple plants. I don't ever recall seeing them, but they're about this tall with purple stuff. And then there was some white flowers, just wild weed flowers. And I pulled over at that Osawintha, where it says Osawintha, you can pull off because that's where they were. And I went and took a bunch of videos of them. I think it was last year. And I looked up that purple flower. It was gorgeous. It's called ironweed. And it is a native weed that grows in Alabama and the southern states, and butterflies love ironweed. And this year I've seen some more of it growing, but they try to spray and they try to kill it. So there you go. But I don't remember seeing ironweed. Have y'all ever even heard of it?
I've heard of it, but I didn't know what it looked like.
It's a native weed that grows in our area, but I don't recall
State
seeing
of
it.
Alabama is one of the most diverse, biodiversity
I've seen that.
places on the planet.
There was a guy that did a video about that. It's amazing. But yeah, so leave the ironweed alone. And then, of course, I like there's certain birds, animals, whatever that like those black locust trees. And we had one at the park, the ones that put down the white, real fragrant little fronds that come down.
Yes.
And you
There's
don't
one
see
behind
those. Yeah, you don't see those a whole lot. And they're starting to make a comeback, but that's what they were doing. But farmers cut them down because when they're young and little, they got the real long, hard spikes. But once they grow big, they lose the spikes. Now you get up there at the little they might be, I don't know, I'm not gonna climb up there and see. But we had one here at Gunnersville. And this, the neighbors on that side of that house that's got the tall porch, they got in and cleared all that out, and they cut down that black locust tree. And I was so sad. I told them, I said, if y'all don't mind, could y'all leave that black locust tree? They had 3 or 4 of them, but there were 2 of them. I like, if y'all could, that looked really big and pretty, was putting out the pretty white flowers every spring. And I knew they couldn't build, and I told them all about it. Well, I came home from work, and they just whacked it all down, but left a low down mimosa tree. Now, I love mimosa trees, but this one was not pretty. It's like half the tree was dead. They left that one. I'm like, why did they leave that one? But they cut down the white locust. Well, little did I know the white locust will sprout up from the roots, and of course some of the roots were left. And so I went out
again.
Yeah, well, they sold the house to another person, and so Van and I went out there the next spring, and they were like 20 or 30 shoots coming up, and so we let them grow because that person hadn't come and done anything with it. So we dug some of them up and moved them right on the line. So now I've got 4 or 5 of them.
Okay.
Well, when he moved in, they were about this high.
They cut them?
No, they're about this high. And so I saw him, and I was like, oh, I'm going to tell him. So I showed him pictures on me. I pulled them up on my phone and showed it to him. And they only grow in one little, if you look at the growth area, there's a little bit of North Alabama through parts of Georgia and parts of Tennessee. It's just one little swath up, and that's the only place that they're native. They grow. And so I showed him all that, and I told him they're really, really, I said, he says, I've been on the farm, we like to cut those down. I said, because of the thorns. I said, yeah, but if you'll just let them grow, they'll lose their thorns. And he's like this, and he said, I'll let them grow. Well, anyway, that's been several years ago, and they're big and tall and putting out, the flowers now, and they have no thorns. So I tried to tell him when they get big, they'll lose the thorns.
Is he still there?
Yeah, he's still there.
So he knows now?
Yeah, he sees them now. And if you ever, of course, they're real tall and straight, you don't get the stuff.
Yeah.
So you can't necessarily smell them. But there's one that shot up around the telephone pole. And can't nobody cut that because it's between the telephone pole and the wire. And I keep thinking something was the light pole. It's not the telephone pole, but it's the light pole. And I told him, I said, yeah, if you don't want to pay to have that light on at the end of your street, we could care less. Because it was like daylight in our backyard and front yard. And so he kept it on because the lady across the street wanted the light on. And I was like, oh, we hate that light. And I said, I can't wait till that tree grows up and blocks it. But he's quit paying for it now. I guess he's like, but the tree does block it. But they hadn't cut it. I figured they'd come cut it. But they don't.
Well, this one, the ones here, it's just what out there were sort of wild-like. And they're pretty big.
Yeah. When they get big, they'll lose the thorns. But that's the demise of them. Farmers cutting up land down for pasture and stuff, and they hate them. They see the young ones, they'll cut them down. But they say, I remember now what it is, some of the absolute best honey that bees will make come from the black locust tree. And they said it's one of the purest, sweetest honey you can get. And it's very sought after if you've got black locust tree. And I told Sarah, because they got beehives, I said, well, y'all need to be planting black locust tree along that property line by the creek. And I said, because they'll make some good honey.
What did she say?
She said, really? Yes. Most people don't know about the black locust tree. It's one of them that they started killing. They just started whacking them down and spraying the red buds. I don't know if the red buds do anything special, but black locust honey is very sought after and highly
Red buds
expensive.
are just pretty.
They're just pretty. I love them. And they're purple. Why they call them red? I have no clue.
I don't
They're
either.
purple.
I don't know. But used to go up and down from Gunnersville to Albertville, top of the mountain there. There would always be.
Well, this year there were some there.
Did you see some?
Yeah.
I hadn't even noticed.
You hadn't been driving. Well, this year, another thing Mom didn't know about was I kept telling her about the pelicans. Big old white pelicans are here. And Mom's never seen them, and I'm telling you, and I saw them years ago when I was working at United Credit, not too long after I moved here, brown pelicans. Everybody's like, you're lying. I'm like, no, I know what a pelican looks like. I've been to the beach, I know what a pelican looks like. And then finally, I think the next year somebody had taken pictures of them, but they're not that, there's not that many of those.
Yeah.
And no one sighted the brown pelicans, but I guess they told their white brothers. And so this year, I guess we were going to the doctor. Were you staying with me at the time when you were sick? Whatever, was it last year? And I've got a video of it. Somehow we were
I
coming
think it
from
was
my house.
last year. I don't think it was
So
this year.
when you were staying with us, I was taking her to the doctor, and we were a little bit early, but not a whole lot early. And I saw them at the park where we lived, and I said, "Oh, Mom, there they are." So we wheeled in. She couldn't get out and walk a whole lot, but we wheeled in, and I got into the grass where she could get out and get. But that whole little, right where we live, that little slough, full of white pelicans everywhere, big, beautiful white pelicans. And I got video of it. And I was like, I'm glad you got to see the pelicans because they were only here for a short period of time, and they fly away again.
Well, what were the ones, okay, if you remember, before you come across the bridge into Gunnersville, there used to be an island out there. And I thought it was pelicans, but it may not have been. Whatever it was, some kind of bird started roosting out there and it killed all the trees.
The cormorants.
Cormorants.
And they're
that's
not
what it was.
pretty. They're like ducks and kind
Yeah.
of black, and though. But when they swim real low in the water, so you just see a little bit of their black back and their little heads sticking out. Those are cormorants.
Okay.
And they're not pretty, but they've shown up within like the last 20 years. But
You seen the pictures of them bald eagles that was in there between our yard and
I think I did. Yeah, did you had them on Facebook? Yeah. That's
still
amazing.
there?
No, they flew off.
Oh, they're not nesting there anymore. No, I didn't mean, you know what I meant. They're still there.
They put them in a little travel trailer.
The ones over here at the park, they keep multiplying.
Well, I've seen them a couple of times. One time I was sitting out on the deck out there at, where I got a deck built beside the camper.
Yeah.
I was sitting on it, one flew right over the top of me.
Yeah.
Was the first I seen. Then I seen Mary, I think, seen them across the field or across the road, a little street, like a little field.
Yeah.
It's like Danny Newton's mom and daddy's place there, kind of like a shoot, range.
Yeah.
And I've never seen nobody shoot there, but I mean, it's just a little field there that, narrow field that Mary's seen them out in there. And then, of course, I come home one day and there's sitting there on the side in the yard between us and Danny, next door neighbor, Diane. And she had sent, Mary a picture of them first. She got out on the porch and Diane took a picture, and then I come in and I seen them.
Yeah.
So then I got out and went in the house, and Mary asked me if I'd seen them. I said, yeah, they're right out there. So we went out on the porch, and then I tried to sneak up there and get a closer picture, and then they flew off between me and our place and Danny's.
They're magnificent birds.
There's two of them.
So this year, we got the kittens, and we would put them outside, and so they could start getting used to the outside. Well, I was talking to Ginger, and she says, well, there's an eagle nest right up in that tall tree right behind like our house, and then the neighbor, the one that the house, which the new neighbor didn't cut all the trees down, but right beside us. She said, right up behind his house is an eagle nest, and they got eaglets. Little baby eagles. She says, me and John will sit at the bedroom window with binoculars. We've been watching them grow. And she said, if they see those kittens out there, they'll snatch them. And I said, I know they'll snatch them because Robbie, because we've all by the lake, there at the point, there's usually a nest somewhere up there. And Robbie and Tim said when they were, their kids were little, they were out in the backyard. They're on the other side of me. And she said they had just gotten one little kitten. And so they were all outside enjoying it. They had it several weeks. And they had it outside watching it, playing. It was jumping in the little stuff. And she said, right before their eyes. an eagle swooped down and snatched up that kitten. And she said, they're all running and screaming, and the kids are crying, and there went the kitten. I said, I remember that story. And I was told Ginger, she goes, well, it did happen. Robbie did not lie to you. That is what happened.
That is so sad.
So I've been so paranoid about our cats because she said the baby eagles, she said they're fledgling, they're starting to come out. She said that'll be easy prey for them. You better watch those cats. So I've been watching them. I was like, oh, I just can't stand the thought of one of our cats being eagle food.
I couldn't stand it either. Oh my, especially with a little kitten. It's bad enough if it's a cat.
And the
but
kids
kitten,
are watching it. You know, they love that little kitten. It's I can imagine the crying and screaming.
Yeah.
That'd be traumatizing
it
for a little
would be a
kid.
kid, yeah.
I saw some nature show about the eagles up in Alaska, because they're everywhere. And it was the commentator was filming this real pretty scene, and eagles were everywhere. And it said their favorite snack are the little coots. And they had a video of one eagle flying down where the coots are, and they're all scrambling. And he flies over and grabs with his claws. He goes, has one with each claw and takes
Oh
off
my
with
goodness.
them. Oh no! They said they're not a full meal for them. That's their snack. That's their appetizer.
Poor little
They
babies.
said a lot of coots lose their
Well,
life
like,
every year.
Matthew 6:26, God's providing for the birds.
Goodness gracious. Goodness.
Well, yeah,
It's sad though.
we never had no eagles when we was kids.
They killed them off with that. What was it? DDT? Whatever it was
That's-
that weakened the
that's
eggs.
DDT,
or something,
yeah.
I think it was.
What's so bad is I tell people, about the river. I remember when we were little, they put out notices and advertised going it was so polluted.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
not eat the fish and don't swim.
Oh, yeah.
Because up the river was Chattanooga, and they had all those factories, and they were just dumping everything.
They didn't have any
Yeah.
rules or laws or.
And I guess it was Jimmy Carter. Everybody hated him. Somehow he came in there and started, whoever started the Environmental Protection Agency started demanding that they had to clean the water up, clean the air up.
Creeks,
So they all just
rivers
left.
around here
Yeah.
that,
A lot of factories closed.
there's one in Woodville that's dumping in the paper crop.
Well, I've told y'all the horror story, and I tell people this that I've seen. I'm trying to think what car I was driving in. It was just a pretty day. Van was gone somewhere. The kids were grown, so it wasn't but a few years ago. I was driving from the state park. If you go from where the state park is, you can go to Scottsboro. I forgot the name. You go through Blankston and you come out on the other side of the bridge. It's just a beautiful drive because one minute you're in pasture territory. It was the fall of the year, and it was just leaves were so pretty. Pastures were great, and the little cute little farms. And the next thing you know, you're by the water. And then, so anyway, I'm driving along doing that. And right before I got to the bridges, where you'd get onto the bridges, there was a septic company on the side of parked over on the side, and you can see them spewing their brown stuff all out in the lake. He was dumping his raw sewage.
Oh, God.
When was that?
About 3 or 4 years ago. They were just dumping it, and I'm like, and I was like, that shouldn't be legal. And I just drove on, and I was telling somebody about it at work. I said, you won't believe what I saw the other day. And they're like, you should have called that in. I said, well, if I had, they'd been gone by the time, the cops got there. And I don't remember the
Nowadays,
name
you
of
jerk
it.
out your cell phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think about it. I was by myself, and I was like, you just see me getting beat up by some guy not wanting to get in trouble. But just right there, right before you got to the bridge, just dump it out as
People don't
septic
care. They don't think about other
I can't
people.
remember.
They
It was
just,
a silver-looking one. I don't know. I think I've seen the company before. A1 Sewer Septic, something like that. I think so it was. But anyway.
but they don't care. Just the cheapest way that they can get by with stuff.
And there'll be kids playing in it. But I mean, they're doing that anyway. Upstream.
Well, back in the day, when pilgrims and all of them came over from England over here in the United States, for the New World,
Yeah.
in other words, they wouldn't drink the water that was running from the creeks and rivers.
Too clean.
Because they couldn't drink it in Europe and England.
Oh, they didn't know.
Because
So she polluted.
they putting their sewage in the rivers, their creeks. So they got over here and they had, that's, when they made beer out of acorns.
Yeah.
And the kids was drinking beer. Everybody was drinking beer because, of course, the Native American Indians is like, good clean water right here.
What's wrong with you?
So, I mean, eventually,
They
I
didn't
think
know
they
that.
probably
Yeah.
figured it out, but that's the reason they wouldn't drink the water over there, and that's been, what, 1600?
At one point in time, the Thames River in England,
That's what I was
they
just
said
thinking.
was so dirty that it stunk so bad you couldn't stand
Yeah.
it. Killed all the fish. And there's a river not too long ago, was it running through Germany, they say.
Was that bad?
Because what all the corporations did, because they didn't want to build here with the EPA on them, they just moved over there
Oh,
and
yeah.
started polluting over there. We went to that bodies exhibit when Tori was in high school, and what they do is they take human bodies that are donated to science, and then they would take them and whatever organ they wanted to see, and they did it with our lymphatic system, our nervous system, all the different things. They would shoot it up with this plastic stuff, and when it hardened, they would then take the body and put it in acid, and everything would eat away except for that plastic. Then they could pull it out, and it is amazing. It's sad because you're like, that's real human bodies. Anyway, the lady that gave the children the tour said these were all from China, and so you were looking at lungs. That's when we were looking at the lungs, and she'll say, "You notice all these lungs are black." She said, "You may think that these were all smokers." How many of you raise your hand? She did that stuff, but anyway, they were not smokers. She said, "When you see pictures of people over in China wearing the mask," she said, "they're so polluted over there. Their air is so polluted.
Oh,
this
yeah.
is what a normal lung looks like over there. They don't have to smoke." She said, "There is no environmental laws over there. So corporations moved over there
Oh,
and
yeah.
over in India. Now we want them back. So you got your choice.
We're hooked
Clean-
we're hooked on the stuff that they make
Yeah.
in China and send over here. So
And she's like, well, they could clean their air up, but it would cost too much money.
Yeah.
So
well, I think China's trying to get more of the solar now, but I mean, of course,
well, I hope so, because I mean, it
It's
was like
probably
that was
because-
beautiful.
because of how they
Yeah.
destroy polluted their
Oh, they're
country.
so crowded to begin with, aren't they?
Yeah,
Not anymore, I don't
Not
as
anymore.
much as it was.
Because they got over there. Me and Tori were laughing. I mean, not like, ha ha, that's what they deserve. We're
No.
just like, yeah, kind of we are. Them, China and India, aborted so many little girls because China had the one baby policy for a long time, and now they've retracted that. But they had the one baby policy in the cities and stuff, and to carry on the family name, you wanted a boy. And so many of the baby girls were aborted over there that they're now, that some of the men, the husband, to find a wife are trying to get women from other countries because there's not enough women for every man. And that's also happening in India. The same thing's happening in India because they don't want little girls, because little girls have to be given a dowry price to get married. So it got so out of hand on the money that they were aborting an enormous amount of little girls. And so their country was overrun with single men. And they interviewed this one little old lady, looked like she was your age, and she was pitiful. And she says, I got two 40-something-year-old sons here. And she says, I have to cook and clean and take care of them because they don't have a wife. I sure wish they'd get them a wife, but it costs so much money for them to go get a mail order bride, so they don't have the money. And over there, men don't cook and clean. Like you canning and cooking, oh no, you would not do that. And so anyway, they interviewed, it was kind of
They
sad.
go hungry.
But that little old lady, she was taking care of her two 40-something-year-old boys because she said there literally were not enough
Well, their
brides out
population's
there.
gotten older like we are here, so now, they're having, their population problem, but now they're wanting to have more kids.
Well, and it's like, and it's, you
Let
know,
me check this.
their
It's
age,
been- how long
it
has
is
it been
their
going?
age of people who, it's the woman who's fussing about no girls, and like, you're the age that
Yeah.
aborted all the little girls.
Yeah.
Oh,
But I have to say, women don't usually have much say.
Oh, what?
Either way.
No, not anymore.